Welcome to Ham Nation, episode 543 for March 29th, 2023. And hello, everybody. I am Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks so much for joining us out here on Ham Nation, here on the Ham Radio Crash Course. If this is your first time, we go live every other Wednesday for Ham Nation, and just so you get notified, it's real simple. Click subscribe and then click the little bell next to it, and that's how you'll be notified every time we go live here on the show. Let's say hi to our hosts on this wonderful evening. Hosts! What, we lost two. What's going on?
It's only me and her?
Oh, my goodness.
What?
Well, it's going to be...
Well,
the wheels are coming off tonight, guys. That's for sure.
You could do worse, I'm sure.
They let the kids out to play today, evidently.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
I would like to say that Gordo wishes he could be here, and I forget what he's doing, but he's doing something working hard.
The Coast Guard. He's
the Coast Guard.
I believe.
Gordolicious.
Yeah.
He always has all of these special events and everything. So thank you, Gordo, for everything you do for amateur radio and above and beyond that. So
he's Gordorific.
Gordacious.
Ooh.
How's that?
He's almost as good as a Taco Bell Gordito.
I was like, if I have to come back up with a pun on that,
the chat's going to go nuts.
Yeah,
let's
just stop while we're kind of ahead.
Well, we'll break from the norm. We'll start with Amanda. What have you been up to, Amanda?
Yeah, I've played a little bit of radio. Great.
Yes.
So I'm filling in some 10 and 15 meter stuff, but I've got some great guests here tonight, and they don't need any real introduction, but I've got K3LR and Mr. Tim Duffy is in the house. He's going to be talking about Contest University. And also we have Mark Wolfschlegel. I messed it up, Mark. WC3W. And he's going to be talking about DX Marathon that goes all year round. So he wants to get more people involved. So stay tuned. Don, what do you got going on before we send it over to Tim?
Well, personally, nothing really. I work 10 hours a day, and I work in the car dealer, so it's the last week of the month, which means I've got a 60-hour week. So not much time for ham radio except for right here, which I'm very, very thankful for. But I do have, of course, we're going to be talking about the Young Ham of the Year. There's the nomination form. And also with Dayton or Xenia Hamvention coming up, we've got something pretty cool to announce with Newsline. And here, let me give you a quick preview. Talk more about that later on tonight after we see the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Scove, Josh.
Well, very good. That means we get to well, stay tuned for more
3D,
on that special
the 3D version.
That's right. Put your glasses on before we get to Dawn for the 3D effect. But that means we're going to throw it to Amanda and to talk to Tim. So let's get started.
Thank you so much. And Tim, thank you so much for being here tonight. You were here. Actually, you were just on live on Facebook yesterday with Mike Coulter talking about some of the same things. So tell us about Contest University and what you guys are going to be doing at Dayton.
We've been doing Contest University now, Amanda, for over 15 years, and it is it's taken off by fire. Just a few weeks ago, we had Contest University in Italy, and had almost 300 students that attended there. So it is a worldwide deal, and of course, but the home of Contest University is at Hamvention, the day before Hamvention. And if you want to bring up the website, we can talk a little bit about it. It's contestuniversity.com, and it is the day before Hamvention at the Hope Hotel, which is right on the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, right adjacent to it. And last year was the first time we did it there, and it was spectacular. It was a really good place. The food was great. The rooms were good. The sound was good. George Thomas was there doing live streaming, and you get a little view of what the classroom looks like with all 300 plus folks at Contest University. And then we divide up, Amanda, into 4 classrooms for the bulk of the day. And if you go to the course outline tab, the course outline shows you what all the topics are that you can get to enjoy, and it is a jam-packed day. Believe me when I tell you, we go from 8 to 5, and it is the fastest day you will ever have because there's so much great information We've got over 10 professors this year. They are all really well-seasoned hams, so they know their stuff, Amanda, and that's really what is great. The last presentation of the day is Rob Sherwood talking about all the new radio equipment. And if you go to the tab where we talk about the professors, the professor bios, you can find out information on the various speakers that we're going to have and what their interests are. We've got W2NAF. Dr. Frizzell is going to talk about the Solar Eclipse QSO party. He's a phenomenal speaker, and Joel Harrison, W5ZN, previous president of the ARRL, now our IARU representative, Ed Muntz, who knows everything about digital. So it's really a great group of guys that give these presentations. And if you want to get an idea of what goes on at Contest University, you can take a look at the videos and the files tab, because those are previous years. And the live streams have been recorded. And so you can get a lot of information just by watching the videos. And there are also textbooks that you can order from DX Engineering. But there's lots of information on the website, contestuniversity.com. And if you've given a presentation at a club meeting over the last 12 months, you get a $10 discount, Amanda. So that's really good, because hey, what better way than to spread the word and get out there.
So a couple questions. A, how is registration? Is it filling up? Do people need to register right away?
Yes, it would be good to register right away, because there is a limit on how many people we can put at the venue at the Hope Hotel. So make your plans now. We're about 6 weeks out, so it's time to get serious about your plans for Hamvention.
And I already see in the chat room people say they can't wait for Contest U this year. And then second, what does it cost?
So if you haven't given a presentation to a club in the last year, it's $85. And if you have, it's $75. And Amanda, if you're 25 years or younger, through a very generous grant from the Northern California DX Foundation, 25 years and younger, it's free. So,
wow.
Yeah, and it's really, really cool when we call out the call signs and the names of all of the under 25 attendees. It's fabulous, and they make new friends, and that's what it's all about.
Well, thank you for the gracious grant there, Northern California. I can't remember the rest of the name, but that's really, really generous of them. Let's see. And do you need to do anything to prep for this? Do you send out materials, or you just get all the materials when you get there?
You get the materials at registration, so you get a bag full of stuff. The textbook, a T-shirt, lots of goodies in the bag, and we have breakfast included, and also a really nice lunch. So everything is there. And if you haven't been to Contest University in the past, now's your chance. It is a great time, a great event, and everybody comes away saying, "Wow, I didn't know what I was missing."
Amazing. I'm sure a lot of our past, Valerie has been a teacher or a professor and she talked a lot about your logging software. Do this. I know it takes a whole team to put this together.
Takes a whole team. I couldn't do it without Terry, Kate MNJ, who really, she runs the show, Amy, N8AMY, Jason, Sandy, DL1QQ. There's a whole group of them that really help. And Jerry, K1SO from North Carolina, he's helped for over 10 years. So we have a really good dedicated group. Registration is on Wednesday night, and that's the first night of the Contest Super Suite, which is the next website we should take a look at.
Oh, definitely.
Let's take a look at contestsupersuite.com.
So what's going on there?
Oh, my gosh. This is 4 nights worth of fun at the Hope Hotel. And every night, Amanda, we have a free pizza party. What? It's the only free pizza party at Hamvention. So, and we've got some great sponsors. Some contest clubs like the Frankfurt Radio Club, the Kansas City DX Association, the Mad River Radio Club, and my home club, the North Coast Contesters, as well as the Yankee Clipper Contest Club, Society of Midwest Contesters, and the Potomac Valley Radio Club, all chip in and help out. And if you go to the tab contest-related events, if you're going to print out one thing about having fun at Hamvention, this is it, because it gives you a blow-by-blow timed of what's going on between Hamvention and also at the Hope Hotel. It even talks about some of the forums, like the digital contest forum, like the antenna forum, like the contest forum that all occur at Hamvention. So this really gives you the snapshot if you want to have fun on contesting related events. There's so much to do at Hamvention, but this is one area that is we've got it down pat, and a lot of things going on there. And then of course, Contest University and the contest dinner and the top band dinner are all involved with this as well. So there isn't a dull moment. There isn't any downtime. By the time Sunday rolls around, you're exhausted.
Yeah, you need to be dragged out of there on a trailer. Well, Tim, I don't think anyone can doubt how much effort you and DX Engineering put into Dayton Hamvention, but I'm sure I do want to give a shout out to the Hamvention volunteers as well, as I'm sure you would like to as well, because they work so hard to get this going at Xenia. And we can't appreciate them enough. And you're going to have a booth there, obviously.
Yes, yeah. DX Engineering will have one of the largest, or if not the largest, booth at Hamvention. And of course, we've got nice carpet and everything for everybody. So it's a really well put together booth. And the DX Engineering team, we have they're working during Hamvention where we're having all this fun, and over 700 volunteers. It's an incredible organization.
It really is. And I know it just takes so much teamwork and so much planning and organizing. And I think I can say for everyone in the chat room that we're just all so happy that it's back again, right? So we get to come together and have fun. And, speaking of which, you probably were just playing in the DX contest, but you've also been helping some other people play some DX expeditions as well.
Yes, the WPX contest was a host here for a 10-meter single band effort, which went off very well. And I know Dr. Scove is going to talk about the big solar storm that happened last week that kind of rocked the band a little bit. But on Sunday, things were spectacular. And these DXpeditions, the Sable Island guys, Charlie Yankee Zero Sierra, are just finishing up tonight. They're going to leave the island tomorrow. And what a great group of operators, and they've made, over 50,000 contacts, and they've had a great time up there. They've been safe, and they've given a lot of people new band mode slot counters, and so that's a really good event. And of course, our friend Hal, W8HC, is leading a team over in Ghana, 9 Golf 4 X-Ray.
I was not aware of that one.
And that is, I'm going to send you some information on some of the things that Hal is doing with the locals to promote amateur radio over in Ghana. Has just been spectacular. They're doing great things on the air, but they're really integrating with the local Ghana folks and having a great time and teaching about amateur radio. So they're going to leave Ghana a better place for amateur radio.
That's fantastic. And raise your hand if you got Sable Island in the logs. I did. Chat room, let us know. And Bouvet, they finished up, and I think you helped along with that as well?
Yes, we had a big part in the antennas with Bouvet, and of course, Adrian, KO8SCA, was on with us a couple of times about Bouvet. And we had a live shot with Otis, November Papa 4 Golf.
Oh, yeah.
When he was on the boat anchored right there at Bouvet. So the big thing was they made almost 20,000 contacts. They had a very, very rough time. but they all got home safe. That's the big thing.
That's
That-
it. Yeah, it's very important, and it sounded treacherous, absolutely treacherous, having to take a lifeline basically and swim ashore. No, that's
Yep.
not in the books for me. So
No, they were risking their life for ham radio.
they truly were, and I don't know if I should say thank you for being a part of that, or
Absolutely.
Now, they did the best they could do with what they had to work with, and
I'm
they
telling
all
you.
deserve a big round of congratulations, and we're just so happy that they're all back safe.
Oh, well, once again, we really appreciate you being here. Hey, Josh, did you find any questions in the chat room I need to know about?
Well, there's a couple questions, but it looks like I think Tim, you answered most of the questions. I think
Well, because
Brett
he's a
got-
great speaker.
That's right. Brett already said, looks like that was my answer, but he was curious about any pre-meeting the day of, and it sounds like there will be a pre-event gathering potentially the night before, as in years past. I think that you said it's a 4-day
Yes.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, Wednesday night is registration.
This should be an easy one. What's the best hotel for Hamvention?
Well, the Hope Hotel, they will probably have some rooms available about 2 weeks out because what happens is, Josh, some guys cancel at the last minute.
Sure.
And so obviously that's where these events are going on. But there are a lot of hotels. The Marriott in downtown Dayton, I think, is booked out solid. But don't waste any time. Do at least get a booking somewhere. But there's the Visitors Bureau at Greene County has been fabulous to work with, and they are a big fan of Hamvention. So I would go to the Visitors Bureau. Just Google them up in Greene County, and you'll see all the hotels.
Very good.
Perfect.
Brent has another question, or sorry, Brett. Will there be also activities at the VOA Museum or WLW? Do you guys do that? I was not aware.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
There might be.
No.
You have to ask them, Brett. Reach out to that side.
You know what?
Newsline will cover that for sure because we've got some folks in the Newsline crew. Neil Rapp is a member of that club, so
Yes.
they always have an open house going on, special hours for Hamvention. About
They do.
WLW, I don't know. That's iHeart, and so you never know with what they're doing. I heard that. I could be wrong. Check the Hamvention website, or go check with the VOA because they will for sure know, because WLW, the big tower, the big diamond Blawnox tower, is right next door to them,
Yeah.
just down the ways a little bit. So they will know for sure.
And I sent
I
Mike
want-
Halter a really late invite to this show, but I'm sure he will join us maybe in the next show to talk about the winners of Dayton Pride. The thing. Sorry, I
Ham
can't
of the
think.
year.
Yes, Ham of the
Yeah,
Year and
yeah,
all of the
yeah,
technical
absolutely.
of the year. So he'll be able to answer more of those questions for everybody. I know it's a little late, but we'll get that. Well, Tim, anything else you want to tell us what's going on?
No, just Hamvention will be here before we know it. Let's hope for good weather, and I hope to see everybody there.
Well, thank you
I've
so
got-
much.
I've got something for you, Tim. You mentioned the professors, one of which, of course, was Dr. Tamitha Scove a couple of years. She's been one of your professors. And I think that you mentioned also all of the volunteer effort that it takes to put on something like Hamvention, and as well as your Contest University as well. But it's the grassroots efforts from the clubs as well. So I think you should go over the clubs that help sponsor your event as well. I think you should give them another mention.
Yeah, the Potomac Valley Radio Club, the Yankee Clipper Contest Club, the Mad River Radio Club, North Coast Contesters, Frankfurt Radio Club, and the Kansas City DX Society, as well as the Society of Midwest Contesters. And there's other clubs there as well, Don, and they're always welcome. We've got the entire hotel for ham radio for 4 days.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we go in and have a great time.
Wow. Well, I'm missing Xenia this year, and your Contest University is one on my bucket list. And I want to know if there is a society of misfit contesters, then Amanda and I think we should start that. I really do. I think we should start that.
Don,
We'll sign you up.
5013C. right here.
There, exactly. Tim, thank you so much for everything you do. We
Thanks,
certainly
Tim.
appreciate
Yes,
you.
thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Dawn. Thanks, Amanda. And we'll see you soon.
Okay, and you tell Terry a big hello
Yeah,
from all of us.
we love Terry.
I will.
She's a hard worker. All right.
Yes, she is.
Okay, I'm done with my interview. That means that it's time for ICOM.
Got cabin fever? Look no further. Spring is just around the corner, and ICOM has what you're looking for. Our top
See you
quality
guys.
base stations, mobiles, and handhelds are perfect for working your favorite bands inside the ham shack or venturing out this spring. ICOM's newest FM transceiver is the ICV 3500, and it's ready to hit the road whenever you are. With a compact body and simple interface, this radio is a must for those looking for a long-range mobile with a fresh look. Go further with 65 watts output and get louder with 4.5 watts of audio with the ICV 3500. The rugged ICOM IC T10 portable meets or exceeds standard military testing. With an IP67 waterproof rating, the IC T10 can withstand any field activities ahead. Hear any transmission and listen to FM broadcast with a loud 1500 milliwatt speaker. The IC T10 is an excellent choice for any bug-out bag. The IC 7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. This innovative HF transceiver digitizes RF before various stages, reducing inherent noise in different IF stages. With RF direct sampling, the IC 7300 changes the way entry-level HF is designed. The IC 705 is a perfect sidekick and QRP companion. Base station features and functionalities at the tips of your fingers in a portable package covering HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs just under 2 pounds with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the optional backpack LC192 with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories. The ID52A is a VHF-UHF dual bander with D-Star and FM dual mode functions and is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display. This radio supports conventional FM communications and D-Star simplex, repeater, regional, and worldwide calls over the D-Star Internet Gateway. Send photos over D-Star with a connected Android device. The ID52A is a perfect companion to the IC705. Both use compatible batteries and headsets, and you can also use the same Android app for D-Star operation. Learn more about these and all the great ICOM radios at icomamerica.com/amateur. For the love of ham radio.
And we appreciate all the support that ICOM provides here at the Ham Radio Crash Course for Ham Nation, of course. But also, supporters for DX Engineering for the Contest University. So they're definitely out there. ICOM's always helping out Ham Radio, which is fantastic. But they also give back, and they give back in the form of a swag pack prize, at least for our show. Every episode, if you make sure to click on that little Enter Now button on the website that we have linked in the description to ICOM America, you'll be entered to win one of 3 swag pack giveaways. And once you win one of those, you get added to the list that can potentially win a radio at the end of the month for the monthly drawing. So here are this episode's winners for the swag packs. We have Bill A, N0WHA, James P, KJ7TPL, Lee N, KF0BEH, and the winner of the T10 radio, the website might not have been updated, the T10 radio, the ICOM T10, is Stacy S, KQ4CJW. So congratulations to all the winners. Yes, indeed. Congratulations to all the winners. And make sure you get in on that, because that's, again, free swag. Who can complain about that? But a chance to win. And yeah. So thanks again to ICOM. We really appreciate the support. Don, going off to you, buddy. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, Joshua. A couple of quick news items that didn't make it into the news this week because just time constraints. Something happened over the weekend in Dayton. It's not really amateur radio related, but there was a huge fire at the Wright Brothers aircraft factory, which is the oldest aircraft factory on the planet. There was some pretty, I found out about it today, pretty serious damage. Hopefully they can salvage some things, but I mean, that's a historical treasure, a global historical treasure. So, our best go to the people who are going to be into that restoration effort. Now, some interesting news. There was a very popular event that Newsline hosted a number of years ago, and it kind of passed away when Bill Pasternak passed away. In fact, the last one that we had was one that I was the master of ceremonies for, and that was the Amateur Radio Newsline Town Hall meeting. The last one that we had was with Dave Bell, W6AQ, and the ARRL films and movies and everything that he and Bill Pasternak helped put together. I was just honored and thrilled to be the MC of that with Dave, showing some pieces of the video and some Q&A and behind the scenes. Well, it's back. That's the big news. We have the 90-minute Amateur Radio Newsline Town Hall meeting is coming back to Hamvention this year. I don't have a time. I do know it's 90 minutes. I don't have a date yet, but I do have the guest list. Some folks that you've probably heard of. Riley Hollingsworth, K4ZDH. Going to talk about the current progress of the Volunteer Mentor Program. We're also going to have Mark Smith, M6MTS. He's going to present his proposal for the Open Headset Interface Standard, or OHIS. And then lastly, another big hitter, Tim Elam, president of the IARU. He's going to talk about the current status of the IARU, the relationship with the ARRL, and any current issues of interest to the general ham radio public. So be listening to Amateur Radio Newsline. Check the Newsline website. Check the Hamvention website for the schedule of the forums. It's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss it. So pleased that the town hall meeting is back. And while we're talking about some things,
had I known, Don, had I known that you were going to make this announcement, I totally would have had Josh queue up a meme or something of hands clapping, but I'm sorry, I have my this
is the announcement. It hasn't really been announced. Well, it's been announced publicly on Facebook, I think, and on our website.
I'm sorry, let me tell me.
It's the first.
He's like,
we're very excited. We're very excited about it. We really are. And of course, Young Ham of the Year nomination period is now open. The website, arnewsline.org, there's more information on that in the news of the week, as well as a little report from Dr. Timothy Scove. And let's go ahead and roll that beautiful ham footage, shall we, Joshua? From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 2369. This is Ham Nation Headlines for Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. Amateur radio communication is just one part of the outer space experience one ISS astronaut is sharing through a new website.
The website's better known as ELF in space, and it's been created by the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center in Dubai and the Emirates Literature Foundation as a communications tool about technology and the space program. It features Sultan Al-Nayadi, KI-5VTV, the second astronaut from the United Arab Emirates. Al-Nayadi is giving its visitors a window into his 6-month experience on board the International Space Station. Other UAE astronauts such as Hazar Al-Masuri and Nora Al-Matrushi will join him. The website has a strong tie-in to the classroom experience, and each week new topics will be released discussing the challenges and discoveries of space travel. There are also classroom-based activities for educators to download for their students. As part of a 20-week learning program, students around the world will watch each episode as it's released with subtitles. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Scientists have found the source of a mysterious radio signal from the sun that sounds curiously like a heartbeat.
When a recent C-class solar flare, more than 5,000 kilometers above the sun, sent out a radio signal in a heartbeat-like pattern, scientists began to work to unlock the reason behind it. The international team went in search of the origin of the pattern, known as quasi-periodic pulsation, or QPP. Studying observations captured in 2017 by a radio telescope in California that detects microwave frequencies, the researchers began studying a heartbeat-like pattern that repeated every 10 to 20 seconds. Then they unearthed something unexpected, a secondary signal which was weaker and could be discerned every 30 to 60 seconds. According to their recently published study, they have been able to determine the so-called heartbeats are triggered by disruptions known as magnetic islands, which form in sheets of rapidly moving plasma from the sun. At the heart of the matter is what this research may ultimately reveal. Writing in the journal Nature Communications, one researcher said the answer was the key to a fuller understanding of the scope of the damage that solar storms can do when their energy is released. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
And finally this week we ask, can you imagine being 101 years old and still on the air, sending and copying CW? We visit with one man in Iowa who doesn't have to imagine it because he's living it.
Just like the Morse code he loves to send, the 101 years of Lowell Dibble W0TER have been a continuous wave. The Iowa man turned 101 years old on St. Patrick's Day. And according to several press reports and a video on YouTube, his longevity and enthusiasm, like his ability to send CW, transmit a powerful message on a daily basis. Lowell has a long history on the air. He served as a radio officer with the Merchant Marine during World War II. An amateur extra-class operator, he has regular QSOs with his friends using CW and keeps active at the retirement community where he lives. His mental workouts with code are complemented by his daily routine of physical workouts that start his day. His son Mark told TV station KCRG in an interview just days before his father's birthday that what keeps him going is, quote, the excitement of just wanting to do things. Get up in the morning. It's not, what am I going to do? It's, what of all these things am I going to do today? End quote. Dibble told the TV station that although he credits good genes, having a positive outlook is also a definite plus, and he plans to keep riding the excitement of that continuous wave. This is Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
A reminder, the nominating period for the 2023 Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Young Ham of the Year Award is now open. You'll find more information and the nominating form on our website, arnewsline.org, under the Awards tab. We'll present the award in August at the Huntsville Hamfest in Alabama. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With John Williams, VK2JJW, Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now, here's the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Skov, WX6SWW.
Space weather this week calms down compared to that big G4 level solar storm we had last week, but it looks like the quiet respite is over. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, we do have a small coronal hole that's going to be rotating into the Earth strike zone here over the next couple days, and it's going to give us a bit of fast solar wind. Nothing like that massive coronal hole we had, but that's not the big story. The big story is that we've been watching region 3256 down in the south, and as of about the 28th, we started watching the activity level grow a bit, and sure enough, on the 29th, wham, right there, that was a big X1 class flare. This also launched a solar storm. It looks like it's going to go west of Earth, but nonetheless, it means we do have a big flare player on Earth's disk again, and later in the day, wham, right there, it fires an M-class flare as well. So radio blackouts are back on the menu, at least over the next couple days, until this region rotates completely out of view, and then we might get a little bit of radio quiet until region 3262 rotates over that same place, and then it might start getting active. So we may have some intermittent radio blackouts over the next few days, and things then will quiet down after that because it doesn't look like there's all that much on the Earth-facing disk in terms of other big flare players. However, as we take a look at the far side, this is the stereo A's view, and we're looking at the sun just a tiny bit from the side. If you look and you can can see that big coronal hole about mid-disk. That should get you kind of oriented. That's the one that's going to be rotating in the Earth strike zone here over the next couple days. But you look past it and look at the East Limb in stereo's view. Well, you're seeing a few bright regions here and there. It's looking kind of, I don't know, a little bit stochastic. Not a lot going on. It doesn't seem like there's any big solar flares or any big players like that or solar storm producers. But what it does show is that we will still have some bright regions rotating into view. This means that that solar flux will stay up and radio propagation will stay in the good range on Earth's day side. So as soon as we get rid of the big flare players, it looks like things might actually quiet back down a little bit, and radio propagation will be good pretty much everywhere all over the globe. For more details on this week's space weather, including how those radio blackouts might affect you, come check out my channel or see me at spaceweatherwoman.com.
Thank you, Dr. T. We are so pleased and thrilled and honored to have you as part of the team here on Ham Nation and Amateur Radio Newsline and just ham radio in general. Follow her on Twitter at Tamitha Skov. Her YouTube channel is Tamitha Skov as well. And, of course, spaceweatherwoman.com. She's a great follow on Twitter. If you don't follow her, then you're certainly missing out. And we thank you for all of her efforts. So, and, of course, go to arnewsline.org and grab the nominating period, the nominating form for the 2023 Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year. That's it right there. Print it out and fill it out. And, well, you don't really have to fill it out. Print it out, do it online, and save it as a PDF and email it to us because we don't take stuff via the U.S. mail anymore. It's so much faster and quicker and makes you make sure you get to the deadline faster as well. So 90-day deadline on that. So it's March, April, and May. So the end of May is when the deadline ends for nomination. So plenty of time. Find a deserving young amateur radio operator and nominate them, and we'll see you coming up in August, exactly 3 months after Xenia and Hamvention in Huntsville, Alabama for the Huntsville Ham Fest. And that's all I got, Josh. Back to you.
Well, first, the notes from the show. Amanda, your lighting is amazing.
I don't.
You've got multiple
know
people that everybody loves your lighting. So
because she's radiant.
You're radiant. You're glowing. It's the best.
Thank you.
Well,
you're welcome.
I think we're going to Amanda next for our second interview. So it's all yours, Amanda. Take it away.
It's me.
I was blinded by the light.
That's it.
If you start singing, honey, I don't know about.
No. Just because I can't doesn't mean I won't, but I'll hold off.
Oh, yes. Dr. Tamitha Skov's call sign is Whiskey X-Ray 6, Sierra Whiskey, which stands for Weather 6, Space Weather Woman, everybody. Right. So you can QRZ her and look her up, and maybe you can get lucky enough. I know somebody dropped off a D-Star radio for her and had it all programmed, so she could actually maybe, if you're in the LA area, be on the air sometime. Anyhow, all right, enough of that. Thank you, Dr. T. We appreciate it. And nobody got drunk tonight because she didn't say too many whams. But I want to thank my next special guest for being here tonight, Mark WC3W. Mark is running. I don't know how this actually got planted in your lap or how you got it, but he is handling what is called the DX Marathon. Are you guys aware of it there in the chat room? Let me know if you are. But Mark is here to explain it in case you haven't heard about what the DX Marathon is, which is a year-long event every year. So, Mark, with that, thank you for joining us this evening and waiting here patiently. And you go ahead and you tell us what it's all about.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda. And I can vouch Amanda is radiant. And the reason I know that is because I participate every year in Field Day with Amanda, and she usually sits right next to me, operating SSB while I'm operating CW. So she is radiant. That is true.
Oh, wait. I have to add kick ass because him and I, we compete, and I see what his call sign on N3.
Always.
And I'm like, oh no! And then I get another contact, and it's boom, 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 boom. So we compete with each other too. So he's our CW op. Thank you, Mark, for being our CW op. But go ahead. I'm sorry, honey.
I get 2 points. So.
I know.
Well, first of all, I love your venue, guys. Josh and Don and Amanda. I've been listening to this regular, and I forget how I found it, but I listened to the very I think the first one was the 2 hour and 50-minute anniversary thing, and I listened to every bit of it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. You guys
Well,
got
thank
a
you.
neat,
Found us.
Oh, thank you.
you've got a neat thing going, and I'm just I'm very thankful to be a part of this now. One of the things that I have been doing since the first of the year when I took over this program, I've done about 30 Zoom meetings at club meetings. I wrote letters to all the section managers, including Amanda, and they've been very helpful at percolating that information down within the clubs in their areas. And right now, I look at my calendar over the next couple months. I'm doing three or four a week, and I would just like the audience to know I'm retired. I'm living in serenity. I'm doing what I've done for 60 years, hamming and DXing, and I'm with this responsibility that I took up first of the year. I hope to give back to this wonderful hobby that's been so wonderful for me. I've had many, many, many hobbies in my life, but none has been with me the whole journey other than ham radio. So anyway, I'll talk about the DX program. Let me
Perfect.
just start, and then I'll just kind of open up for questions. For the folks out there that would like a club presentation, I know clubs are always looking for speakers. I can do it in about 30 minutes with about 10, 15-minute Q&A, and it's been working out real well. So what I'm going to do tonight is just kind of give you a 30,000-foot overview of the DX Marathon program. First of all, it's been around actually since 1939. Now, not continuously. It was introduced by Radio Magazine, which was the precursor to CQ Magazine. It operated for 1 year, and World War II started, and it went dormant until 1948. And then in 1948, it picked up a year. And then in 1949, DXCC came about and CQ Worldwide, and it was dropped. And it was dead until 2005 when Bob Loker, K9, I forgot his call. He went to CQ Magazine. He resurrected it, and they said, "Have at it, Bob." And Bob found he knew how much work it was. He found a young John Sweeney, K9EL, who has done this for 17 years, and he's my hero. He has given back to ham radio like nobody has given back. I knew John through a mutual friend of mine down here in Jupiter, Florida, where I live. And I called John up and I said, "John, what's involved? I'm retired. I want a little bit of time to get back to the hobby, you know." And about 30-minute conversation, I was flabbergasted at what one man was doing for this program. And I thought about it and I said, I'm trying to build serenity into my retirement. I said, this is not going to give me serenity. This is going to make me drink again.
Make you crazy. Yeah.
So I thought about it and I got back with John, and make a long story short, I said, I was an EVP before I retired. I built a number of companies up, and I said, look, I think we can make this work. Do me a process flow chart. Tell me your tasks and responsibilities. So he did that, and we wrote up job descriptions. And today I've got a board of directors consisting of very experienced hams that 40 or 50 year or more. They've been in the program, but my operating group, which also is seasoned veterans, are with me now, and we're basically 5 of them plus me are doing the work of one person. So
okay,
that's how I got into it. And the DX Marathon, let me just take 2 minutes here. It's, as Amanda mentioned, it is a year-long program. It is not a contest, it's a program. If you have a radio and you like the DX, and I don't know about you all out there in the audience, but DXing is what charmed me about ham radio 60 years ago, and I still love it. Not that everybody is a ham radio operator, but out of DXer, but out of 2.7 million hams, I would argue that a good percentage of those just love working DX. And
Whoa, wait, 2.7 million? Is that the number that you have for hams?
I've looked all over. We got about 800,000 in the U.S. and the balance of the world is I've seen numbers between 1.75 and 2.5 million, 2.7 million.
Okay. I thought that was a really
sure.
high number. I'm impressed. So
it's a little bit high, but the neat part about our 800,000, believe it or not, unlike, let's say, for whatever reason, Japan 15 years ago had 1.4 million. They got less than 400,000 now.
Oh no.
Okay. The U.S. ham is holding the population is holding its own at about just short of 800,000, and it's slightly growing, which is very encouraging.
Well, you're a statistic guy. I like that. Okay.
I'm an engineer. There
it is.
So, it's a segue. Why do the DX marathon? Okay. I did it for 7 years before I took over this role. And the reason I did it is I'm an engineer, and I used to work for a guy that taught me if you can't measure something, it's not worth doing. And that's just the way I'm built. But, in the DX marathon, it's a very simple program. You start January 1st, you end December 31st, you log every 346 plus 6, we add 6 DXCC entities, and you log during your normal course of operation how many zones you work out of the 40 zones. You get 1 point for each one of those entities. And you fill out a very simple form, ADIF form, you convert it, upload it to our website at the end of the year, and we score you. And I did it because I got enough plaques, DXCCs and everything else. I did it because I wanted to see how I did in operating DX from year to year. And it gives you a beautiful metric. And every year I've been in it, I've done a little bit better, which means I've spent a little bit more time on the radio. My operating skills have probably improved a little bit. My station has been upgraded. I've got, a better station. So it gives me a metric of how well I'm doing. The beautiful part about this program, and where I'm really targeting this program, if you put all the hams in a bell-shaped curve, I've been blessed with property and financial resources where I've got a big station. I got a remote station down in Florida.
Yeah,
I'm a big gun. Okay. But I believe that I'm probably, along with all the other big guns, are in the 1 sigma area in the bell-shaped curve. I think far more common is the ham that doesn't have a 100-foot tower and a Yagi antenna and a linear amplifier. And I'm really focusing on those people because we have tranched our program where no matter what you have, if you are QRP, if you have 100 watts and you have a wire and a dipole, we can put you in a tranche in the program where you are comparing yourself against like stations throughout the world.
And
so it gives you
Mark, I want to just tell everybody, I got 75 of my DXCC contacts by a wire and 100 watts or less on a Kenwood TS2000. So it is absolutely 100% possible. And you don't have to have the best and the biggest station. So all of our viewers on chat, yes, it's absolutely possible to get DXCC. So continue on, Mark.
That's a wonderful point you made, Amanda. But to add to that, right now, Cycle 25 is giving those people with limited resources a terrific opportunity to enjoy what I've enjoyed for 60 years, working DX. That, and admit it, you like it or dislike it, FT8 is really making it possible to work DX. So between Cycle 25, which is going to be hopefully around another 6, 7, 8 years, and FT8, it's a beautiful thing. You don't have, you could 75 watts and a wire antenna. You'd be surprised at how many DX entities you could work.
Okay, so let me, that brings up a couple more questions. So you're talking FT8 is a valid contact for this DX marathon. What do people get out of doing this and uploading? Are they getting big plaques? Are they getting certificates, digital certificates? What do they earn?
Beautiful question. Both. We have about 30 plaques that we issue. The high North American CW, high North American phone. Each country around the world, the high score gets a plaque. Okay, so it's all on that website that Josh just brought up. You could under the award tab. It goes over everything, and then we have 120 certificates that we issue as well. So we try to, like any program or whatever, we try to create a lot of winners in recognition. If you're going to spend the time working DX, and keeping track of it, we think the good effort should be recognized.
Okay, I have another question too. So I'm just thinking about my own logs. Like if I submitted an ADIF, do I have to separate out all of the US contacts that I make, or can I just upload the whole ADIF log to you and you differentiate the countries?
Okay, we have tools, and again, I don't think we have time to talk about this, but
Sure.
if you want to invite me to a club meeting, I can explain it to you.
Of course.
Most people use logging programs. I happen to use DX Labs because I love Dave and what he's given to our industry. But almost any log will be able to allow you, for example, in 2023, to isolate those queues and generate an ADIF file.
Okay.
So that's your first step. Once you have the ADIF file, then we will provide you, both on the website, a tool to input the ADIF in, which will put it in the score sheet for submission. It is, I'm going to tell everybody out there, this program is simple. It takes about 10 minutes to do that. Number two, all of your contacts, you do not have to have QSLs. You do not have to have LOTW verification. You don't have to have club log. It's an honest operator program. Now, having said that, we do have a scoring program that John has developed, and my new IT guy, 35-year retired IBM guy, has written. And what we do is we do check logs. We check them against club log. We check sometimes on a DXpedition. I will get the ADF file. They'll send it to me. We'll load it in. So we know that the goodness of the program is only a function of how honest people are. And cheating is not a problem, but we do find people occasionally stretching it, and we have to take care of that in fairness to everybody else that is playing the game according to the rules. So we do spot check. Let me talk about the timing. This is very important too. You work DX from January 1st to December 31st. Between January 1st and January 5th, you upload your logs to our website. We then will put on our website the preliminary unchecked scores right away in all the categories. Then we go to work for about 6 weeks and we do verification, okay? And then I have just completed, last Friday, I wrote my article to CQ Magazine by April 1st because it will come out on the June edition, and it will have all the official verified scores. And at the same time, at that time, I'll put them up on the web page as well.
Okay.
And that's it. That's how the program works.
So you don't keep like a live leaderboard then?
We do not keep a live leaderboard. We've done some surveys. John's done some surveys. There is 2 groups that participate in this program. One was like me. I've been the competitive thing, and I'm trying to put serenity into my retirement. So I don't want to compete anymore. I want to enjoy and relax.
Oh, Val would not be accepting of this, everybody. Just want to let you know.
I know. There are people, however, that are very, very competitive. For example, in the top bracket, the unlimited, the difference between number 1 and number 6 was 6 points. 306 versus 300 and 300.
Wow.
6 points. It is very, very competitive for some people. Okay. So I just want to highlight that as well.
Okay. Well, Mark, anything else? Anybody? Sorry. Let me step back a second here. Are there any questions from the chat room, Josh, that you got?
A lot of people just talking about how much they love 10 meters and DX and that they love the idea of this. I'm hoping to see somebody who's potentially been doing this in the chat and is participating. That'd be great to hear from, or those who've done it in the past.
Well, I didn't know that it existed. Otherwise, I would probably have submitted my logs.
Right.
You know,
There's no. We are completely a volunteer organization, as was mentioned in the previous guest. Clubs and individuals contribute all the plaques. Basically, it's $100 per. I've got 3 or 4 additional clubs to step up because we have a youth program now, a 25 and under, that we were issuing a certificate, and I said I want to issue a plaque to the top youth at 25 and under. So
that's cool.
So we got, and I'm thinking about all kinds of things for 2024. Amanda, you may or may not like this. I'm thinking of creating a YL category. Okay,
that's
I
awesome.
think that's great.
I mentioned that at a club, and believe it or not, just last week, and one of their officers said, "Well, why? I feel like I'm just like anybody else." So I said, that's something my wife would say.
I would compete against both. So.
Well, absolutely you would. But anyway, there's some really neat things I'm thinking about doing. And as I was mentioning, our sponsors, Northern Illinois DX Association, Western Washington DX Association, we have wonderful sponsors. They're all recognized on the webpage. We have individuals. A local fella just stepped up, and he's a good friend of mine. He belongs to the South Florida DX Association. He said, I want to sponsor the youth plaque. He wrote me out a check for $100. So anybody can support it. I am looking for additional sponsors because we're going to expand the program a little bit in 2024, hopefully. We have a Group IO page as well. If you go to Group IO and search on DX Marathon, that page right there, I'd just like to remind everybody, if you're watching, www.dxmarathon.com. This was introduced one day before Hamcation started. This is a brand new web page done by KI2D, who is my IT manager, a phenomenal Sebastian Delamont, phenomenal guy, brilliant guy. He's really helping us out. He basically redesigned a 17-year-old web page. So it's a beautiful web page. Go to it. There's so much information on here. Even if you don't participate in the program, we have pirate calls. We have every known call in Antarctica. There's like 100 calls. You can go to this and you can pick those up. It's got a wealth of. We spent a lot of time. We added an FAQ in here as well.
You have done a phenomenal job. If anyone saw the first page, imagine those 1996 web pages. That's what it looked like. So this looks, where it's like the bright cyan blue. And the horrible I can't even describe it.
John did
a nightmare.
he did with the resources that he had, and it I've been very blessed.
This is fantastic.
With some powerful people to surround me with, and I'm 6 months ahead of where I thought I would be. Quite frankly, we did all the scoring. The new team, John was going to stay over and do the scoring in 2022. The new team did all the scoring.
Fantastic.
In 2022. We have a new we built on what he did, but I'm thrilled with the talent that we have to do this program. So all I can say in conclusion, this is simple. I've got 6 guys, myself plus 5 guys. If anybody has any questions, zip us an email. We'll get back to you real quick.
Okay, so we can find your contact info at dxmarathon.com, correct?
Right there, yes.
Okay. I have a quick question. Do you have a I did a bunch of HF mobile. I love doing HF mobile. I don't have a mobile station in my car right now. I'm kind of in between that. But do you have any breakouts for mobile operators to do this as well?
Not really, Don. We're thinking about it. It's, we're trying to keep parity among the groups, and you got to think about this for a second. If we got a retired guy that has an RV or something and is driving all over the country and everything else, first of all, he's crossing a lot of zones. So 70% of our participants are international, 30% are domestic. So what zone did I work? Where was this guy? And by the way, there's no admission for the program. You don't have to sign up for the program. You submit the logs by January 1st to 5th. You are in the program. Okay. And I also might add, this is very important. I left it out. If you like a mode preference, if you only like CW, I had a friend of mine who does not like FT8. He's in his 80s. He's a great CW operator. In 2019, he entered this program with CW only. He scored 319 points, which was the highest ever recorded.
Whoa!
So you can choose your mode, or you can choose your band. We have participants that compete only on 60 meters, or 160, or 10, or 10 meters.
This sounds kind of like a distillation of the whole amateur radio hobby, pretty much.
Yeah.
You find your little niche and you populate it and you go in there and you do you, boo-boo. If you like to do nothing but CW, go do that. If you want to do this as a mobile, okay, well, cool. Go ahead, knock your lights out, have fun. It's your hobby. You do it the way you want to do, right, Mark?
Yeah. Don, I really, you made such a terrific point here. I start out my club presentations and say, look, I want you to write down a question and if you or comment at the end of the presentation, if this program doesn't fit your needs, if you've got a radio, if you've got a license, tell me why you wouldn't do this.
Yeah, that's all you need. You got a radio, you got an antenna, you got a license, go.
I can't help it. Boo boo equals strength.
You do you, boo boo. That's my mantra.
That's
you
it.
do you, boo boo. You do you. Exactly.
Okay. One more question. How many people submit their logs? I mean, I'm guessing more and more people do it every year as you get this out.
Great question. In 2020. Between 21 and 2020, we had year-over-year growth of 15%. In 2021, we had about 550 submissions, representing about 115,000 queues. In 2022, we had 1,183. We had a 46% growth, representing 220,000 queues. Wow. So in 1 year, now that's part of cycle 25. Okay, that's pumping that up, no question. And somebody mentioned, I think Amanda, you mentioned 10, 12, and 15 meters. In 2022, we had 4 times the queues worked on those bands versus 2021. That's cycle 25.
Yep.
And it's going to get better and better and better.
Well, now that you're on the syndicate and you're
put it anywhere.
That's weird.
That was a boom boom.
Yeah. We got the soundboard.
That was somebody doing themselves. Boo boo.
Really happy. I thought Josh did that. Okay. I'm fine. So we got to pump up those numbers. That's why you're here tonight. But you're on the syndicate to get everybody to know about this experience and for more people to upload their logs. So Mark, thank you so much for being here tonight. And once again, everybody, Mark is available for all kinds of club meetings. He can go into depth a whole lot longer, show you a lot more numbers, show you a lot more results, and go more in depth on this. So be sure to reach out to him. that's what he's here for, and he's willing to put in the time, which I think is a great thing.
Yep.
And I'm just so happy, Mark, that I know you on a personal level. And he ignores us crazy kids during field day because I don't know how
I
this
don't ignore you.
I don't know how this man can do CW when we're like hooting and hollering and drinking beer and being loud and cursing out. I mean, we're not really
He
cursing
puts his
out
headphones
people.
on. That's what he does.
He does put on his headphones.
Exactly
But
what he
he
does.
kind of does. He does the side thing so he can kind of listen in because he wants to know if it's about to get too crazy.
Yeah, that's
And
potty
he's
mouth
like,
Amanda. Yeah, there she goes.
yeah, and he's like, for safety purposes, I'm gonna have this off.
That's it.
Just so I know if I need to run out of the trailer. But no.
I appreciate you all because I used to be there as well.
Mark, you're a great ambassador for this hobby.
Yes,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love it. I love it, and I just I love meeting the people in it. It's been a blessing to me, and I just like I said, I'm in it now doing this because I want to give back a little bit of the enjoyment that I had, and the thrill of DXing is still. I mean, every morning I'm on the air every morning. I mean, it's
It
just
changes your life.
It does.
Somebody's
really
asking
does.
in the chat room,
It's changed
are you going to be
mine.
at Dayton? You going to be at Dayton?
You know what? I was at hamnation, and my wife has some medical issues right now. It's kind of up in the air. I'm going to try, but she's got to go in. She's going to have some back surgery, I think, and that probably is going to nix Dayton for me.
Yeah. Well, God bless her.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Mark, join us again sometime. You got to join us January whenever you get your numbers out next year, and tell us how you did. Okay.
Actually, the numbers will be out in June. The final numbers will
Oh,
be
good.
out in June.
We'll have you in June sometime. June's a busy month, but we're gonna have you on. All right, everybody.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
Good job, Mark.
Thank you
Great
all.
guest.
All right.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
So I-
Of course.
He's a killer, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I've got to start looking into this. I just need more time to get up in the morning
me too.
and follow the right cycles. That's always my problem. Is I got kids
too.
crawling all over me. And
I know you got to
how it
work
goes.
10 meters in the morning, and
I'm working 10
you
hours
know,
a day. And I don't have. I wish I had time to put some
And
time into that.
who the
I would.
hell has an antenna for 160? I mean,
I do, but it's not that one half of it fell down. But I do.
Bob Heil does. It's going across the street.
Yeah, exactly.
When he shared that with us, I heard it going over
That's
the
right.
street. I was like, "Oh,
That's
Bob,
right.
this is awesome. I like
That's
it."
right. If I remember,
Yeah.
the lady's husband is a silent key, and
yeah,
she said, "Sure, yeah, go right
Go for
ahead."
it.
That's-
he has the coolest neighbor ever,
Oh, he's the coolest guy.
ever.
We love you, Bob.
Yes,
We
sir.
do love you, Bob. Okay, I have one more announcement to make. I forgot to mention that last time. Don't forget, we have Larkfest in Longmont, Colorado at Boulder County Fairgrounds. I thought I was going to be there, but something has come up, so your Colorado section manager is not going to be there. But I've been to so many ham fests lately that I feel like I've made the rounds enough. So give me a break. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Anybody else have any announcements before we wrap it up? I mean, I'll mention the Nets, but anybody?
Just go on arnewsline.org and download the Young Ham of the Year nomination form. And if you know of a deserving young radio amateur, we'll honor one of those people in August in Huntsville, Alabama. It's a great ham fest, by the way.
Perfect. I heard it's the friendliest one.
It's what they say, and it's true. I've been going since '95. I think I've missed 3 of them. One because we
goodness.
actually didn't do it one year. We didn't do the award one year, and then a couple were canceled by COVID. And that's the only 2 that I've missed since '95. So,
Wow,
or 3
not-
that I've missed. Yeah.
Not terrible.
No.
Josh, anything?
Well, we'll be live this Saturday. We have the camp out is coming up at the end of April. We're already booked, so don't try to get in. But it's going to be, I don't even know how many people are going. It's over 40 people.
Wow.
We rented out.
That'd be fun.
We bought an
That's a
entire
ton.
campsite, and we're gonna have a ton of people show up at outside San Diego, California, and it's just gonna be a ham radio camp out. It's It's gonna be
Mayhem and hilarity shall ensue.
Are you doing? I can't remember. Do you bring a little trailer, or you do tent or vehicle?
It's an Airbnb campsite that we found, and the owners are hams. We stumbled upon it. My wife found it, and they have a cabin and a trailer. I usually sleep in a tent, but this year, because I've got the Ford Lightning, I'm going to have a legal limit amplifier that I'm going to run out of the bed of the truck
You're kidding me.
a Buddy Hex beam, and I'm just going to be blasting. It's going to
That'll be fun.
Awesome.
Well, we'll see if your truck survives.
Oh, it'll do it. I already
Yeah.
Well, I didn't test
Did
it
you?
legal limit, but it'll do 240 output.
There you go.
Truck. So I'll be running some power for sure, but I've already tested it with
It's
100
amazing.
watts. It won't be any problem. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That is going to be fun. All right. I got nothing. I'll just be on the air. I got to hand out some Voda contacts and give everybody 100 and I don't even know what I can't remember what I'm worth, 150 points or something like that. So need to do that. So I'll be on this weekend. Nets 14 Charlie for D-Star. We've got 7192 and find Steve around, I think he operates around 3820-ish. So with that, stay tuned next week or 2 weeks from now. I'm going to try to have Michael Coulter on talking more about Dayton to get you all involved to go if you haven't already booked your tickets, although it's getting late. It's getting really late, but we're going to also talk about all of the hams of the year and all those good things and maybe a learning lesson or two. So stay tuned. Yes.
There was a question from earlier in the show on where to stay. I highly recommend at this point, because hotels, well, get a hotel if you need one, but get in with a couple of other hams and rent an Airbnb. We've been doing that for a couple of years now, and the prices are pretty good, and we have a lot of fun because we just get to hang out with our friends at the end of the day and all that stuff.
Yep.
So it's a really good way to go too.
What he was trying to say is that it becomes a beer fest at the end of the day.
Oh,
I
that
don't know
happens
if
no matter where we go.
I don't know if the University of Dayton still does this, but when we were going back in the 90s and early 2000s, the University of Dayton, it's the middle of May, it's their off season, so they were actually renting out dorms, and they had an 8. Was it a six bed? Yeah, it's 3 bedrooms. Yeah, no,
6 hams to a bed.
No. That's your room, Josh. No, it was a large dorm. It was 3 bedrooms. There were 2 beds in each bedroom, so you had 6 beds. And you could rent that out for, I want to say it was like, I don't know, $120 or something like that. And you split that 6 ways, and it makes it really cheap. I don't think they do it anymore. We did that forever.
That is
Loved
really
it. That was
cheap.
That was a great experience. But I don't think University of Dayton does it anymore. So.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, really.
Probably because after COVID, they probably don't do it anymore.
No, they didn't. I think they quit long before that. But anyway, yeah, whatever it was, but that was a great time. So.
All right. Well, I'd like to also thank our guests tonight, Tim Duffy, K3LR, and Mark Walschlegel, WC3W. I got it right that time, honey. And I appreciate them being on tonight. They were great guests, and I look forward to every time they come visit us.
There you go.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening, and we hope to see you again in 2 weeks. And until then, 73.
73.
Good night, everyone.
And fantastic lighting, Amanda.
Really? I didn't do anything different.
I don't know. I think it was the brightness thing, maybe, a little bit.
Maybe it is pretty freaking bright.
That's got to be it. 73, everybody.
I wish I was freaking.